So you need a job. Okay, here we go. Today I'm going to teach you how to fill out a job application. Some places that you go to may require you to do a paper job application, and some places that you go to may require you to have an online application. So it just depends on where you're going. So for the next couple of days, you will learn to do both, how to do a paper application and an online application. Good news is the rules are the same for both. It's just, are you sitting at a computer or some other piece of technology, or are you doing it old school using pen and paper? All right, here we go. Let's get started. So, of course, the assignment is on Google Classroom. We're going to go to, once you log in, you're going to go to classwork. And there's a new category over here on the menu on the left. You'll see one called Jobs. So we're going to go to Jobs. And the one today we're discussing is paper job applications. That's the assignment that you'll do today. Before we dive into that and the instructions and all, I want to talk about the rules of completing a job application. How exactly do you do that? So here on Google Classroom, within the assignment, I do have the rules. I'm going to go ahead and click that so it'll pop up. Here we go. Let's talk about each of them. First of all, follow all instructions. You just have to go down and simply answer each question to the best of your ability. Take your time. Do it right. Potential employers are definitely going to know if you did not take your time. It's evident in many applications. Be neat and spell correctly. I know some of you have sloppy handwriting, but you're going to have to take your time and write neatly. Once again, if they can't read it, they're not going to be interested in reading it. So make sure that you take your time, spell it correctly, ask someone how to spell it if you don't know. This one's really important. Never leave anything blank. If the question does not apply to you, write an NA, all right? If you leave it blank, you're going to leave the employer to go, I wonder if they forgot to answer this, or does this not apply to them? What is it? So you don't leave it blank. You put NA, which stands for non-applicable. In other words, this does not apply to me. This question is not me. There's no yes or no answer. It's just it's not me, NA. All right, so on paper applications specifically, you use a black or a blue pen. Nothing else is acceptable. We don't write in hot pink, even though that's our favorite color. We don't write in pencil because it's easily erased. You have to use a black or a blue pen in the grown-up world when you fill out job applications. Next up, for a paper application, make sure you ask for 2 applications. So in case you make a mistake, and you probably will, then you have another one. So always ask for 2. Paper applications, keep them neat. Do not let the paper get crumpled. When you turn in a job application to a prospective employer that's all crumpled up, what you're telling the employer is, I don't really care about this here, take it. Yeah, I hope you hire me. Not a good impression to make. And then finally, when you answer the questions, be honest and make yourself sound good. Remember, you want the job. A good employer, and most employers, are going to check what you put on your job application. So if your application is filled with lies, there is no way in the world that the employer is going to hire you. So make sure that you're honest. Be truthful, but don't be overly so that you go out of your way to point out all of your flaws. That's not necessary at all either. But answer the questions and be honest. Remember, you're trying to get a job. So these are the basic rules of filling out a job application, and they are available for you to look back to on Google Classroom. Right here within the assignment, you'll see it. So the instructions. Let's look at the instructions for your assignment. Completing paper job applications, the instructions are here. Number 1, complete the job applications given to you in class using your name, address, phone number, email address, work history, schools attended, etc. Pretend like you are trying to get a job at the places that I give you the application for, even though most places will not hire you until you are 16. But you will be 16 before you know it. So let's try and practice now so we're really good when it's time to do it for real. And I know you haven't had a whole lot of work history. Some of you may not have done anything but babysat, or maybe cut grass for someone, or whatever you've done to earn a little bit of money. Believe it or not, that will work as work history. So will volunteering at your church or any other volunteering opportunities that you might have had. So when you're filling in work history, don't feel like just because you haven't had a formal job with a formal employer that you can't list places that you've worked before, even in a volunteering capacity. That's going to help you to get the job. So make sure you think real hard about those, especially when you're at this young age filling out your first job applications. Next, once you finish completing the entire paper application, you will use the camera on your Chromebook or your phone to take a picture of both sides of the application, and you will make sure that I'm able to read the entire application before you turn it into Google Classroom. If I can't read it, I can't give you credit for it. So please, once you take that picture, go back, proofread, look at your image. Can you see it? If you can't see it, then maybe you should try to take another picture. And you'll turn it in here at Google Classroom for this assignment. Make sure you turn in all of the pages of the application into Google Classroom. So this is the assignment. Let's go back and look at the application. All right. So this is a Walmart job application for Walmart, obviously. And basically you start at the top and you work your way down. It is 2 pages long, okay? So I'll have the actual paper application that I'll be giving you in class. For my virtual learners, you all are going to follow the instructions on Google Classroom for Virtual Learner, which means that you'll be typing these answers for each of these blanks that you see here into a Google Doc, and then you'll turn your Google Doc into Classroom. All right, so let's look. Positions that you're applying. Actually, let's start at the top. Application for employment, Walmart. Okay, Walmart is an equal opportunity employer and is committed to excellence through diversity. Okay, that's the EOE statement that companies are required to put on there. Basically just saying that they don't discriminate based on race, religion, whatever. All right, so please type or print. This is important that you read these instructions. Please type or print. This application must be fully completed to be considered. Please complete each box, even if you attach a resume, which we are getting to the resume in the coming days. All right. On that note about not following instructions, I've spoken with many people who are responsible for hiring for different companies, and they all say the same thing. If someone can't follow the instructions on a job application, I don't want them at my company. So this is crucial that you do this right. Please type or print. And for example, if it's asking for last name, put your last name, don't put your first name. Simple little things like that tell the employer how good you are at following instructions. Okay, positions that you're applying for. On this line, you put the name of the position or job that you wish to get. If you're unsure of which job opening you want, if you're just applying at random and you will take anything, then you can write any available job here. But if you know you want a specific job, then you list it on that line. Obviously, you would not write store manager here as a 14 or 15 or 13-year-old person. That would be an unrealistic expectation. Over here, it wants to know, when do you want to work? Do you want to be a part-time worker, full-time worker, or temporary? Part-time means you only work half the number of hours in a week, typically around 20 hours a week. It's about 3 days a week if you work 8 hours a day. Full-time means you work 40 hours or more per week. And then temporary, that just means that maybe you just want to work over the Christmas holidays. Job number, if applicable, this would have been given to you by the store. So that's where I would put an NA right now because I have not been given a job number. Rate of pay expected is how much money you would like to be paid. You fill that in. If you want to be paid $10 an hour, do not just put 10 there. They won't know that's an hour. They may think that's $10 a day or a week or a month. They don't know. So you have to put $10 per hour or $2,000 per month. Make sure you're clear on that. Date you can start work means when can you start to work. All right, let's move on down to about you. You're going to fill this in with your information, your last name, your first name, your middle name. For the sake of this class, for your social security number, just put 123-45-6789. In real life, you will put your social security number, but I don't want access to your social security number. I don't need it, and you're only turning it in to me. So just put a fake number there. That'll be fine. Put in your email address. You can put your school email address or another if you wish. Your mailing address, either your post office or street number goes here. Your city, state, and zip code here. Definitely going to need a phone number on here because if I'm trying to hire you, I'm going to want a way to call you back. So make sure you put in at least one phone number, if not two. Again, remember, put NA if something doesn't apply. So I would put an NA here if I only wanted to give one phone number. Are you 18 years of age or older? No, you're all under 18, so you would check the no box. Will you be able to show evidence of identity and work authorization within 3 days of your hire date? In other words, can you give them a birth certificate proving you are a citizen of the United States or that you have the legal right to be here and work here? Will you now or in the future require work visa sponsorship? This would be for someone who is not a United States citizen. So I'm guessing most of you are going to say no because you are citizens. Have you ever been employed by Walmart or any of its subsidiaries? In other words, have you worked at Walmart or Sam's Club or Walmart Warehouse? And if you have, then you're going to fill in some blanks here. But I have a feeling that none of you have, so you're probably going to check no because Walmart won't hire 14-year-olds. You're going to be checking no, and then in these blanks, you're not going to leave them blank. You're going to put NA. In the future, you'll fill in which Walmart you worked at and all the information. All right, let's move on down. List relatives employed by Walmart, their relationship to you, and where they work. So if your mom, dad, uncle, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, whoever works at Walmart, they want to know their name and are they your mom, dad, uncle, grandpa, grandma, whatever, and where they work. Education. You're going to be completing the education section. You're all in the 8th grade, so I'm assuming you're all going to check 8th or less. As you proceed through high school, you want to make sure that you pick the highest level completed, not the grade you're currently in, but the highest level completed. Yes, you are all currently students, and you have not attended a college or university, so you'd put an NA there. Availability. This is where you pick when you can work. Days, meaning you work between 8 and 5 o'clock, 8 in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. Evenings would be you work probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night. Overnights means that you work from 10 at night until 6 in the morning, somewhere in that ballpark. And then Saturdays and Sundays, you know what that means. And then they want you to know specifically, if you're able to work on Sunday, what's the earliest time you can come to work and what's the latest time you can stay until. That doesn't mean they're going to make you work all that time, but they just want to know on these days of the week, when can you work? Obviously, Monday through Friday, you're in school from 8 until 4. So that would not be possible for you. So perhaps on Mondays you could go to work at 4:30 and get off work at 10. So you would put 4:30 p.m., latest time 10. If you only want to work on weekends, then you fill in time slots for Saturday and Sunday. That is up for you to fill in. Now back here is the employment history. We're on page 2. It says list your entire employment history beginning with your current employer. For any unemployed or self-employed periods, provide dates and locations and attach additional sheets if necessary. Check it out. So they want your employment history and they want you to start with your most recent. So if last week you babysat for the Smith family, the next to company name here, you're going to put Joe and Linda Smith, whatever. Okay, whatever their names are. And their address, city, state, zip code, and phone number. You could put next to your job, babysit. Supervisor, you can put Joe or Linda Smith, whatever. You worked there. If you've been babysitting for the Smith family for the last 6 months, then you would put from August of 2020 to February of 2021, how much money you were paid, and your reason for leaving. Now, if you haven't had any jobs, then you might consider putting here that you work, you volunteered at your church, or you do this at your house or whatever. Something to show that you have some sort of work ethic is going to go in these boxes. Now, if you've only had one job and there's nothing else that you've had, you have to put in A in each of the boxes. So please don't leave them blank. Moving on, references. List 2 people, not relatives, you have worked with who we may contact. And so we need the person's name, email, and phone number, and it's 2 different people. Again, this is going to be someone who can say something good about your work ethic and you. So you may consider your pastor at church or a teacher or a friend, but you cannot list relatives. Nobody that you are related to can be a reference. Then you have to read the statements and initial. So you put your first initial and last initial, and each of these you will initial to. Make sure you read it and understand what they're expecting from you. Finally, you date it and you sign it. And this is the job application. This is one of the first steps in trying to acquire a job. When you complete an online application, which you will be doing in the coming days, these are the same questions that you will see, but instead of writing your answers, you would type your answers. Good luck. Hope you find the job of your dreams.